Good evening, Mazi Chimezie. Thank you so much. I hope I'm coming out clear.
Loud.
All right, Mazi. At this juncture, I have to say good evening to IPOB Ghana. Good evening to our neighboring brothers, our neighboring comrades that joined us, our brothers, our comrades from Gambia, our comrades from Liberia and Benin Republic. I say good evening to you all, to our national coordinator, Mazi Uyedos. Good evening. Greetings to all the guests and all other respected leaders of IPOB worldwide present here. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mazi Mandela. Mazi Mandela is from Olu province of Biafra land. By the special grace of Chukwokike, I serve the indigenous people of Biafra here in Ghana as the media head. It is a privilege and honor to welcome you all to the 6th edition of the Ghana Media Awareness Workshop. Thank you for taking out your time to be here and for your commitment to learning, dialogue, and exchange of ideas. Biafra, it is important to let you know that the awareness workshop was initiated for capacity building and also to empower members to think critically, communicate effectively, work together responsibly, and contribute positively to the growth of IPOB Freedom Nation. When members are educated and united in one shared principle, they are better prepared to pursue their goals in a constructive, organized, and sustainable manner. On behalf of IPOB Ghana Media, encourage everyone to listen attentively, keep an open mind, take notes, and actively engage yourself in this workshop today. I would like at this juncture to welcome our national coordinator, Mazi Uyi Edos. Mazi Uyi is going to introduce the topic and also he's going to introduce our guest speaker. So I welcome all of you to this workshop today, and I want you to stay calm. It's going to be informative and educative. Just stay calm and pick up your pen, jot things down. When it's time for question and answer, if you want to ask anything, you can raise up your hand. So Mazi Uyi, our national coordinator, please, if you can hear me, the mic is yours, Mazi. Dewo.
Ndewo one Chineke. Thank you very, very much, media head. Please, I want to know, am I coming out clear? Please, am I heard?
Mazi, your voice is inside. Your voice is inside. Please come close to your phone, Mazi.
Okay, I hope it is better now. All right, thank you very, very much, great comrades in the house. Without further ado, without wasting time, because we have already taken some time, I want to say good evening to everyone that is on this very 6th edition of the media workshop. My name is Mazi Uyi Edos, and by the grace and mercy of Chukwokike and our ancestors, I am privileged to serve this wonderful family in the capacity of the national coordinator. I once again welcome us, and as we get into the program proper, it is very important for me to highlight the topic or the theme of this 6th edition of this workshop. After that, I'm going to also introduce our guest speaker, who is already here with us. We are privileged to have him. The topic says, beyond emotion, why strong institutions with strong, resilient, and critical minds should drive successful freedom fighting movement. And it is on this note, with all the happiness in my heart, I want to introduce our guest speaker. We are honored to have the person of the deputy, the DHOD, the deputy head of Directorate of State, Mazi Anthony Unzurumike. Mazi, we are privileged to have you in our midst, and he's going to be speaking on this topic and educating us. I believe, I am very, very optimistic that at the end of us listening to him, we should be able to grab one or two things from this very workshop, especially in times as this, with what we are going through as a movement. I want to say, ONC, welcome, sir, and please, you can take up the mic, sir. Good to have you here. And there was, sir. ONC, sir, please, you are not coming out.
Mr. Clement, hope we are not referring to.
Talking about our guest, our DHO is unmuted. I want to believe that maybe he's speaking from Zen, but I don't know if everybody heard. Our guest, please, you are muted. Can you please unmute yourself? Biafrans are waiting. We are always so eager. Our DHO needs, please, you are muted. Let's wait after. Can you help us connect to our DHOD so that we see whether the technical issue of the side is muted? Please, sir. These are moderators. I don't know. Are you guys there? Are moderators? While we wait to see.
Again. So he's logging out or jump back. So please, bear with him. Thank you.
To please, or the media personnel to please go to their platforms to inform their members to join this program as soon as possible. Please go to your personal unit, regional and zonal platform and inform them about this program.
I think we have our PHOP back with us. We'll give it a try to see whether it's coming out. And it's very, very important. Like the guy mentioned, we have our comrades and customers that they are all here with us. The Nigeria family, the Gambia family, and we also have the Benin Republic family that are all there represented. Please, our DHOD, sir, please, if you can hear us, the mic is yours at this very moment because we are hungry to hear your teaching. If you can hear us, please complete yourself, sir. DHOD, sir, please, can you hear us? Okay, very interesting. We also have alongside our DHOD, Dr. Tina, who is also here in our midst. Dr. Tina, please hear us. You can let us know so that we see what is happening from the end of our DHOD. Dr. Tina, welcome you to this media workshop. Please, if you can hear, let us know. Thank you.
Mazi, I can hear you clearly.
So can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, you are coming out clear now, sir. Yes, you are coming out.
To do some modification. Because I just had to download the Telegram. I wasn't having that before. But I think now it's working. I'm up, coming up clear right now.
You are. You are.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Mushneke. Dr. Tina, I guess you are on board, are you?
Yes, Mazi. I just joined. It was quite quick because I already had it on my device.
Yes, you are a media person. I know you've got that in place already. So thank you so much. In fact, without wasting much our time, I would, of course, at this juncture, thank Biafrans worldwide, both home and abroad. I want to specifically be very, very, very grateful to, or say appreciate all principal servants or principal officers globally across the board. I also would like to use this opportunity to appreciate our HOD for the wonderful job he has been pilot and by the grace of Chukwu, let me also thank the members of the Director of State who are working assiduously around the clock to make sure that this very hallowed movement is on course. All the leadership you have in West Africa, I say kudos to all of you, all the national coordinators, all the zonal coordinators, to unit coordinators. I thank you all and for your services. I thank you for being part of this hallowed movement, making sure that the needful is done for Biafra to come. I remain Mazi Mbike. I happen to serve as the Deputy Head of Directorate of State, Deputy Mazi Chikedozium, and by extension, the coordinator of all coordinators. Yes, I think this is the first time I'm participating in this forum, which I find quite very interesting. And I think the job the media is doing across the globe is very important. We are seeing the very powerful hands of our media outfit and outlets. It doesn't matter where they are, but they are really very formidable. I must say, very formidable. Each and everybody who has the microphone, the megaphone to spread the gospel, to make sure that the right information are out there, to make sure that the uh, seeds of discord do not override the facts, ensuring that those who have been sent by the zoo apparatus are not able to unravel this very effort. These are being done by those of you in the media. I just want to remind you how important you are. I want to appreciate you on behalf of the Directorate of State. I appreciate you immensely, and to also let you know that the job you are doing is very priceless, in as much as you are doing it in truth and honesty. The media platform in Ghana has shown a very high quality in its job, and I want to thank Mazo Nele, the West Africa um, coordinator of West African region, the regional coordinator, and by the way, also he happens to be a member of the DOS. I also want to appreciate Julius. Julius has been very fantastic, very much, somebody I would say I would call formidable, because Julius is somebody who has been very stable. You can count on him. He is not somebody who, who walks on the left today and then tomorrow you see him walking on the right. He is consistent in following the right path. And by the way, only people like that are critical thinkers, according to the topic of the day. Mazui, fantastic job in Ghana. Thank you so much. Keep on keeping on. And of course, the media head, I think, Mazi Edi, my namesake, Anthony Chinedu, I think he is also doing a very fantastic job. Mazo, keep on keeping on. And all of you who have been very much, on board, making sure we achieve the goals that we have set ourselves to achieve. Dr. Tina, I don't know if you have the topic before us. I think somebody said it here. The why a strong institution with strong resilience and critical mind should drive a successful freedom fighting movement, as a beyond emotional and sentiment displays. I think something of that nature. If if that happens to be the case, I would like to forge ahead with that. I happen to look into or skim through that very very shortly, and based on what we are building on the platform of the leadership, this very topic happened to be very very interesting. I happen to find it very very interesting. It should be something I think everybody should be able to settle down with. I'm looking at, a strong institution, and then looking at as a component, looking at the other two stuffs. What I look at as skill, the strong resilience and critical thinking. These I will categorize as skills, and I happen to understand that with these two skills, you can be able to come up with a very very strong institution that successfully could make a movement very very vibrant. I'm looking at some characteristics here. One, a general characteristics, and I'm going to look at what I will call a core characteristic of a strong institution. An institution in a freedom agitation movement, as we know, is one that is number one, organized. It has got to be organized. We have to also be able to boast of unified or unification, or let me say unity. And when I say unity, I'll be pointing out the like mind amongst the critical thinkers. So you're going to have critical thinkers, you're going to have those of them who are very strongly resilient. When you have this group that displays such quality, have them together in place, then you have a unifying factor, which is needed in a strong institution. It's got to be organized, got to have unity of like-minded folks, not diversified mindsets, because that's what we're battling with right now. It's very strong. You also got to have what we have agreed that must be our benchmark, the non-violent aspect of it. And that is owed to agitation in a civilized environment. Most of us find ourselves in civilized environments, civilized countries, stable countries, democratized countries that would, and we go to our regular jobs, white collar jobs. Most of us, whether you are a principal servant or not, even back home, all of them, everybody is living within the scope of civilization. We don't have a situation where we find all of ourselves in the bushes fighting a guerrilla war or something of that nature. That's not what it is. So we have preferred, for further reasons, to embark upon a non-violent statute, because not only does that allow us to coexist with our host country, but it's also common sense, because we always want to be very realistic. We don't want to tell ourselves lies. We know we don't have what it takes to have a violent confrontation with those that are oppressing us. When we tried it between 1967 and 1970, by way of trying to defend ourselves. We tried our best, but the cost was too high. We lost about 10 million folks. Ojukwu tried his best, provided what he had, all his father could provide, and all the wealth he had in place. He made everything available and then lavished it on that very war to protect lives and properties from oppressors and from those who orchestrated that Third World War, even though it's not called so, but that's what it was. But even at that, the enemy was too strong because it was not. When we say enemy was too strong, we're not talking about Nigeria. Nigeria was not even the picture. We're talking about those who supply the backbone for them to be able to carry out the heinous crimes against women and children and innocent folks who were, without arms, descended on them from air, from sea, and land. Harold Wilson provided boastfully 5 poles of ammunition support for Nigeria, and he also said it doesn't really matter how many people that die. He wanted Biafra to be humble, only for British interests, because the want of oil had to continue. The want of oil and gas had to continue. And because Biafrans are those who will always ask questions, they are those who will always want to resist. And their choice of preference was to go into a coalition with our enemies, the Fulani Caliphate, and then that's how they orchestrated that. So we know they have amassed a lot of weaponry of different categories that today we cannot able to, rightfully say we can match what they have. That would be suicidal. That would be suicidal. We are not those from Ipob that will tell you that they have warships in the high sea of the Bight of Biafra, or that they have fighter jets somewhere at one airport or the other. No, we don't say such. That is complete stupid. We want to say it the way it is. We are not at that right now. What we can do is to adopt what others have done in the past, numerous countries which I'm going to mention also, and actually were very, very, or at the end, we're very successful with that very strategy. And our own is not going to be different. It calls for patience. It calls for patience. Non-violent approach happens to be part of this strong institution I'm talking about. Then the next point is capable of sustaining mass participation over unforeseen time. So it should be a type that must be capable of sustaining mass participation. In that case, we have to make it attractive for folks across the board to be part of. Hence, the arrival of institutionalization, because we believe that is what is likely to, attract those of them with critical thinking, those of them who do bear spirit of resilience, them to be able to look at it and say, yes, there we go. We don't want a situation of the past that ended up with corruption, ended up with catastrophe, ended up in, endangering lives and property of our people, both home and abroad. This I have mentioned are what I call general characteristics. I would like us to go and look at 4 characteristics also. What I will call number 1, cohesive leadership. A strong institution should also possess that type of leadership, a leadership that's cohesive. This has a clear umbrella coalition and central coordinating body that can align groups and prevent fragmentation. I mean, unlike what you see from Sokoto today, lining up Avi, lining up 100 men or 1,000 men, lining up Umadaka Highway, all this fragmentation. And that is what I would call a fragmental leadership. This fragmental leadership from Sokoto is something that has to be avoided. Under these core characteristics, we go for what we call how to prevent fragmentation by having a cohesive leadership, men and women of thought that can come together and have deliberation and look at things very critically and exercise the critical thinking. And within that very table, be able to come up with something very, very rich for the movement and for the struggle and for the betterment of all the stakeholders. We are also going to look under the core characteristics, what I call mass support. A strong institution should be able to, or let me say, capable of drawing broad membership and public backing. So non-violent to people, to our people, for example, like what we saw during Ebirima. If you have what we saw during Ebirima, it makes the struggle non-attractive. You are going to have a situation where people will reject us entirely, and then say, like we hear today, some people say when you mention Biafra in their village, they frown at it, and like they don't want to hear anything about that no more. These are people who have lost men and women and children and innocent people in their families because of the coalition of Sokoto and Ebirima, what they carried out under what they used to call BLA, Biafra Liberation Army. These things are, foreign to us. We hear it, but they are not part of IPOB. But we know that these are people who created such heinous crimes in our land, and we know that the land of Biafra abhors such. And hence, that's why I will tell you with all assurance that that's what has led to the happening of Sokoto today, because of these abominable, happening in our land. Those things were not supposed to happen. So if we are going to have a mass support, we must be able to avoid such things that will lead to rejection. Rather, we should have things in place that are capable of drawing broad membership and public backing. That is very, very crucial for the survival of this hallowed movement. So there are some, we know, political representation on the ground. We have this political position on the ground. We'll be looking at them and see whether there's any way, shape, or form they can do any good to our people. But from their side, nothing is also happening. So if we have a strong institutionalized movement like ours, there are so many things we can do to attract those of them who are looking up to us. This IPOB, under the leadership of Maz Kedosium and the EOS, was able to embark upon agricultural adventure. And we were able to help our folks in so many ways as the hunger was setting in last fall. And progress have been made. We have seen across the board in Biafra land much food production being promoted. And this very movement is also engaging legal assistance to our folks, those of them who are illegally incarcerated. And they will try to be the voice of the people within the political dispensation, you know. So we know that most of these politicians are doing the needful, but here we are, because some of them are actually not even at liberty to advocate for our people. They are afraid because after being governor, they want to go to become senator. A classical example is that of Hope Uzodinma. He's still a sitting governor, but he is already holding the ticket of a senator. So these you have these things are hindrance. These are the reason why they keep their mouth shut. These are the reason why they cannot speak when the enemies are descending on our people. But IPOB is doing what it needs to do, in 2026 as an institutionalized movement that embarks upon strategy that would attract a mass support. Under the core characteristics, again, we are going to look at nonviolent discipline. Now, this keeps the movement focused. It keeps us focused on nonviolent resistance. For example, some of them has to do with protests. Some of them has to do with strikes. We remember the sit at home. It's a typical um, type of strikes you can think of within the context of Biafra. The boycotts, we used to say people should avoid um, cow meat from the enemy and let us grow a weave. I mean, a few. Yeah, we thought about that, and there was a lot of interest on the ground, and many Biafrans have gone into that business as we speak. By the grace of God, in the nearest future, we will be relying more on them. So that is boycott. We want to boycott what enemies supply and rely on ours. And then we have civil disobedience. All these under the nonviolent discipline. Under the core characteristics, we're going to look at the strength of organization. How strong is the organization? Like in IPOB, as aforementioned, network of structure and planning capacity that yields mobilization and tactical coordination. Now, how is this even possible? Our available human resources, and we all know in IPOB we have so many human resources, professional people with different diverse capabilities who are able to, participate in what we're doing and help out in different segments of this very struggle or department in this struggle. So when we have these capabilities, of course, with the support of the jurisdictional principal officers, wherever they are in the world, these do make planning and mobilization much more possible. So if you are able to now have good planning, good mobilization of the people, and then having professionals to run this thing, or those with special capabilities to run this, you build a network of structures that strengthen the organization. We are also going to look at inclusiveness under the core characteristics of a strong institutionalized movement. Now, if I look at inclusiveness, what comes to my mind in our own case is ensuring that all Biafrans across the board, all Biafran clans and communities are stakeholders. When we do that, we ensure increase in legitimacy and enhance the movement expansion, because movement is not supposed to remain monolithic. We want to expand, we want to grow, and get closer to our goal. And when we mean expansion, we mean not just on the global, on the outside Biafra, not outside Biafra land alone, but most importantly within our territorial space in Biafra land. And that calls for more opening of doors for our brothers of Ijo, our brothers of Efik, our brothers of Urobo, and Igala, and so many of them. And we make sure that all these components are part of what we're doing, and it is called inclusive. So we are going to also have clear demand. When you have a strong institutionalized movement, certain goals must be stipulated and made clear. In an institutionalized movement, this finds concrete goals. So supporters and advocates know what the movement is fighting for. Unlike the confusion of all these days, all these past weeks and months, it has been giving us a lot of room for distraction. And what does that do? It goes to those of them who are lacking critical thinking, lacking resilience, not to have focus of the real thing or of the bigger picture. So the clear demands that we have are those demands that are made clear. They may include the items in code of conduct, of course, not that of the Sokoto code of conduct, because that was not the case of an institutionalized movement. When we say institutionalized movement, we're talking about post-Sokoto IPOB. And that is the IPOB of now. The IPOB of now remains and continues to be an institutionalized one, continue to improve and modify to meet the moment of today. And the goals we are talking about, like I said, may be included in the items of code of conduct, in the bylaws of the institutionalized movement, and in fact, by extension, sometimes these goals are also echoed on periodical radio address by the leadership of the movement, sometimes maybe by way of updates and briefings during conferences where people come together to have meetings, with representation from all global branches coming together in a conference, for example. And there you can also have an opportunity to have a glimpse on the clear demands. And that also happens to be part of the core characteristic of an institutionalized movement like the one we have in place today. The institutionalized movement, agitation, or agitation movement, gains recognition if that is the case, because that gaining recognition will be much faster and is able to start operating through formal institutions. Once you have an institutionalized movement, the doors are open for formal communication with different um, organizations, different authorities across the globe, because then they are looking at an institution which they prefer working with than an individual who presents himself alone. So when you come up with an institution, then it is known that that institution presents or represents a large number of folk as a people or as a nation. It's like when you have an embassy of diplomats working there, and you have them in a particular country. The country knows that that very embassy, with all its components, all its professionals, all its workers, all those employees, they are all representing that country. Though you have an ambassador, you have the rest of them, but they know that it's not just one ambassador sitting there, but you have a whole lot of operational personnel. In fact, in some cases, you have defense attaché in embassy. So even the military is represented of the that of your own country is represented in abroad within the embassy as well. So that is what institution is all about. So now, why are these highlights very, very crucial? Now I'm going to say this because they protect the movement from suppression from either an individual or some non-affiliate authorities. Because when you have it this way, any atom of any suppression from that angle would be, avoided. You can easily avoid suppression of any sort because of the institutionalization. It makes the movement more trustworthy and, of course, more capability of shifting public opinion, right? And relevant political authority. So you have a situation where, even public opinion, if it is negative, if it were to be negative, will be shifted into positivity because of what people are saying. Because there is presence of accountability, right? There is clarity, and nothing is apart from classified information meant for the survival of the movement. Everything is laid bare. So that helps to shift public opinion um, and also relevant political authority. But I would say let us note the following: that strong, cohesive, non-violent civil coalition have always been most important. They have the most important factors associated with transition to freedom. As we all are here since 2012 fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting, there comes a phase that is called transitional phase of the freedom movement. Now, that is a very, very important phase. And you must have all the elements, all the necessary important components in place in order for you to be able to pass through this transitional phase of a movement. Now, according to studies, actually based on, performed across dozens of cases of about countries that are today enjoying their independence, a lot of them already free. The following historical movements successfully used this very model of organized, nonviolent mass resistance. There are some countries that we all know. They are not, some kind of countries you don't know. I mean, India, for example. There's one they call Indian Independence Movement. Indian independence movement used mass non-cooperation. They used boycott. They used civil disobedience as pressure tool on British rule. Another example is the U.S. civil rights movement, especially Dr. Tina, you know what I'm talking about, the black communities. And by the way, they they won a whole lot for not just blacks, but also for whites. Across the women that couldn't vote, this U.S. civil rights movement was able to even make it possible for white women to be part of those who can vote. Because at some point they were not even allowed to vote. Not just because you're black, but even white women and black women and women across the board were not allowed to vote. So the US civil rights was able to also uh, make a whole lot of impact. They too relied on coordinated, non-violent, direct action, boycotts, sit-in or what you call sit-at-home, marches and freedom rides. Another case study is that of Polish solidarity movement. They started with strikes. You know, under the communism and communist times, they started with strikes. Then they grew into a huge level civic challenge to the communists and the Warsaw Pact. So you also have another case study of South Africa. The anti-apartheid movement, as we all know, combined internal protest, which I personally think was very rough. The internal protest, um, quite very risky. We saw how hundreds of people were gunned down at once in streets of Soweto and different places, and so on and so forth. They were very very risky. We have had our own test in Biafra land on the Chahed Bridge. Aba High School and different places. We have had our own test of that. Igbocha shooting and killing, and that is, as a result of internal protest. That is the disadvantage of that. The disadvantage is that the oppressors who don't see you as a valued human being may descend on you very brutally and end up taking lives in big numbers. The South Africa anti-apartheid movement also, with international investment pressure, prepared from numerous global sympathizers, especially from Africa itself, a whole lot of countries in Africa, and not to forget also South America, but most importantly, Cuba. Cuba was the one that said when the call came from South Africa, Cuba stood out actually and said, "Here I am to come and help you." United States of America declined, um, but that's within Americans. But then when you go to South America, Cuba stood very very high, and that is why Mandela never played with them. When he was inaugurated, it was Fidel Castro. He made sure he was on the ground during Mandela's inauguration because of the role Cuba also played in that very effort. Uh, Also, people wonder why a country like Ghana, where we have this very episode today, people will wonder why a country like Ghana is among the first in Africa to gain independence. In fact, non-violence was used, non-violent principles to push back the British towards decolonization. And that is why I think Ghana independence, if I can remember clearly, 1957, 1957. I'm not sure if that number is correct, that date is correct, but 1957 is what I think when they gained their independence. Um, So if I'm wrong, any of you can correct me on that one. Um, so now, all these also do not mean that there isn't an iota of disadvantage in all this. I mean, which is quite minute. The disadvantage will be quite minute, but also on the other hand, um, the advantages are profoundly very, very high. Uh, we have the case of bureaucratization. Okay, bureaucracy. That could be something you can look at and say, you know what, that could be a very minute disadvantage, which typically could weaken a movement by diverting energy away from its original goals, uh, preserving, for example, that of preserving the organization itself. On the other hand, it has been well established that bureaucracy can indeed improve coordination and continuity of policies and targets of a movement. So that's why I said it remains minute. Bureaucracy as a disadvantage remains minute. Now I want to shift, having gone through the uh, strong institution um, on its own. We need to look at what was mentioned in this topic also that has to do with skills. So we're looking at a mixture of strong resilience and critical thinking, which along the line I've been mentioning what that has been doing and what it does, so that we prepare our mind to know where we're heading to. So we know that the mixture of these strong, skills, uh, the critical thinking, and strong resilience, help a freedom movement like ours, for example, to stay focused. Because if you don't have it and a heavy rainfall or tsunami emerges, you begin to wonder about not knowing where you're heading to. You lose your bearings, so to say. When Eberima came, that's what happened. Those without strong resilience, those without critical thinking, they fell apart. They became object of caricature. And Eberima did with them what he needed to do with it because they lacked this very, very skill. And you saw what happened to that, autopilot movement. They crashed out immediately, almost immediately. I'm not sure they even lasted up. They crashed out. Everything became the neck became, actually an eyesore. It became an eyesore. What we saw at the end of the day, because they were all made up of elements without strong resilience and critical thinking. Without these two components, skills, a movement like ours of any strong institutionalized movement cannot be successful. And that is why we must make it clear. For a movement to be successful, these very two mixture must come into play. Um, as they provide focus, it provides therefore capable scrutinization, be able to scrutinize, capable, the ability to scrutinize, the capability of scrutinizing, lay down goals, because you're scrutinizing positive, you want to get to the best of what is laid down. So it brings about capability to scrutinize, lay down goals, and promote maintenance of energy of approach, right? It keeps up credibility, and eventually resilient and critical thinking. These are both qualities that allow full exhaustion of options. Because when you have these two, what it makes, it brings about is for you to now uh, go through everything meticulously, and that means no stone is left unturned in the process of thinking, in the process of looking at things, in looking at the bigger picture. So you exhaust all options and come up with what we call superior argument. And that is very key in making sure that this very IPOB survives. And that is what this very leadership backs upon. That's what this leadership backs upon. So they make the movement hard to suppress, bringing about a strong result. So when people are trying to suppress it, as we have just seen, um, you know, some funny lawyers, some funny individuals, some funny actors, coming from all over the places. Yet at the end of the day, because of these very skills, are not able to suppress us, and rather it all brings about our strong result. Now, because people are resilient, um, even though folks are arrested, when you had Python's 1, 2, 3, crocodile tears, arbitrary, arrests of innocent Biafrans on the street of Biafra, numerous setbacks, propaganda, blackmail, internal disagreements, and even deaths. All this can't, can't, cannot completely unravel a movement in the face of critical thinkers and resilient folks. Because these folks, these comrades, most of them may have experienced so many things in the past. These people are looking at the bigger picture. They may have experienced some momentary turbulence, but you know what? But show, um, what actually certainly must go on is that what certainly must go on is that the those of them looking at the bigger picture will be say, you know what? Yes, we have gone through this and that and that and that. Very, very unpleasant moments, but show must go on. Show must go on. What is that show that must go on? That show that must go on is the bigger picture. And that is the Biafra. That is the thought of the whole fallen heroes and heroines, thinking whether their death should be in vain or not. That is also thinking of thinking critically that what if we abandon this thing? Does that make us safer? That's another question you ask yourself. Critical question. If we now, because of all these, unfortunate moments during this period, now abandon the struggle, does that now make us safer? The answer is no. In fact, it even, digs deeper. The hole goes deeper for us to fall in, God forbid. So critical thinker will say, no, show must go on, right? So the next, I think, here is a quality, the quality like critical thinking could, as a matter of fact, distinguish facts from hoax. Because when you are a critical thinker, what does that do? You are able to, like I said initially, exhaust all options. When you have done so, you are able to put all arguments on the table and go through surgically And at the end of the day, you can remove the facts from the hopes, which actually transmits feelings of stability at the end of the day and satisfaction in the face of all chaos. So it's all plus, plus, plus with good thinking and resilience. And when you have these two, that is the only time we can classify you as formidable. Nobody is formidable without being a critical thinker and without being resilient. In the process, panic is completely eliminated and right decisions then may follow. Now, this is much possible in absence of an individual as an isolated leader. It doesn't happen when you have an isolated leader somewhere. All these things can never be achieved. That is why these things are being echoed within the context of an institutionalized movement. Very, very important. Very key to note that with critical thinking and resilience, independence of thoughts is strengthened, which leads to surmounting of fear or false narratives among supporters. Very, very important. It's all about the goodies when you have these very, very skills we're talking about. The resilience and critical thinking, on the other hand, also provide the capacity to upgrade strategy, help leaders to sort out superior arguments and go for new ideas. Right? That makes sense. Because having this very, very ability to be able to do the filtering, and when you filter something, underneath is what you get, and that is what enables us to move forward and go for new ideas because we have seen what we want to see. So if you are somebody who lacks this very critical thinking and resilience and therefore lack ability, this will not be your case, but failure, by the way. So I came up with the idea that the best benefit, in my own opinion, though, is that these skills promote active participation, accountability, and resistance to unjust policy, e.g., killings of fellow comrades of our own people, for example. So all these things can be avoided. You don't have a situation where an individual can go and make, reckless authorization that will lead to the death of numerous comrades on the ground. Because things are well thought out, superior argument is sorted, critical thinking is applied, and the result is safety for lives and property. And that is the benefit. Also, partly the benefit among all. It allows evil to be called out on time, not too late, but on time. These skills also have the ability to eradicate sentiment and emotional reaction. That's why when somebody introduced this thing, he said, above emotional reactions, and I think sentiments, what critical thinking could do, and resilience as well could do. And this goes on keeping up the efficacy of the agitation will become more robust. That's what it means. Now, there's something I call state surveillance. This must not be forgotten within the context of all these things. Sounds a bit abstract, but very, very important to note that when you are fighting for your freedom, especially when you have a situation where you have an institutionalized movement, or whether or not actually there is always a state surveillance. The state that is doing this is the state of the oppressor. Actually, the oppressor is the one, because it's usually a state that is usually going to oppress you. So the oppressor now comes up with surveillance, try to find ways to stop you from moving forward, from achieving your heights, from achieving your freedom. And so they set up surveillance. We know the case of the zoo where they spent millions of dollars to unravel IPOB, to eliminate whom they want to eliminate, and so on and so forth. It started with Buhari, especially Buhari's administration, and had continued since then. It is used by oppressors actually to crumble a movement. In such a case, an organizational resilience becomes very, very paramount. So when they have that kind of capability, and an institutionalized movement should have what we call organizational resilience. Very, very paramount. And that resilience calls for threat modeling. You begin to look at threats, what kind of threats that are out there. That's what an institutionalized movement should also do. Look at what are those threats that are out there, because not every group or movement faces the same threat. Some face, do face different kind of threats. Some others face different kind of threats, depending on who is your oppressor and the circumstance. You define your risk level, what kind of risk is facing you, and to what degree are those risks facing you. There's something we call under this state surveillance segment of information. So in order to protect the movement, of course, not everything is laid bare, right? You have segment of information. Some have to be classified and some remain unclassified, depending on the kind of threats you're looking at. So, and then you're looking at communication and media channel, which could also be source of risks. When you have communication and media channels, require some of them require secure tools for private work or for the work of the movement from the officers in place. So the device you're making use of is important. You look at the device security. You look at the participants. As we are all here right now, you don't know who could also be part of the participation. So you look at the participants, and see if it's a meeting that can be trusted. And all this is so vital. They are going to also look at the need for clear security culture with rules for confidentiality, verification, and sharing of message. How do you verify what is what in front of you? How do you, what channels, and how do you share the information you have in front of you and the message? These are also very, very important in the context of state surveillance. In communication, you also need backups. Those of you that are very good in media, you have backups for information for your data in order not to get important information lost. Backups are advisable for redundant workflow, right? You have a whole lot of workflows and recovery plans so that also how to recover when your system needs to be messing up, a way to get them recovered so that the organization keeps options and maintain continuity. Madam Tina, I don't know, I think you have some contribution to this at this juncture. I would like to usher you in. Dr. Tina, are you hearing me?
I am here. Thank you very much. You have so much. Look, listen, great Biafrans, when I listen to some of our leaders, I'm so excited because they have so much information to deliver. They have so much, we call it beads of pearls, or pearls of bead, that they just drop, and you wonder, where did these people get all this? But this is one question I would like to ask to kind of add to what you have said is, let's check ourselves. I think there are at least 29 participants in this forum right now, and I want us to check ourselves. I want everybody, just engage yourself first of all in the characteristics that I will read. To be a resilient thinker, or to exhibit resilience of understanding in this movement, you have to have these qualities. Pay attention. Are you able to bounce back? Like when things happen in this movement, like when the Sokoto Declaration and the Sokoto DOS happened, how long did it take you to bounce back and say, okay, I know where I am? Are you able to do that? Are you able to adapt well to hard times? Like when Ekperima, Simon Ekperima's era was happening. Were you able to adapt and say, okay, these people are saying something that is from the left field? This is not exactly what we're doing. This doesn't really mesh with what the Directorate of State is espousing that we do. Are you able to focus back and move yourself back into, okay, let me listen closely to what the leaders are saying instead of what this man is saying from the outside? We're checking ourselves. Are you able to return to your original shape quite easily? Like right now, I have made my mark. I have set my eyes on one thing and one thing only. My only battle cry right now is the two letters that were published, two memos that were published on June 18. One was saying that, oh, another maintain the office of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. We cannot maintain that, so that office is taken out. We don't need it anymore. And the other thing in that particular memo was to say that the office of the director of Radio Biafra is also taken out. Okay, so those two things, I can stake my life on it. And that pushed me back into what I'm supposed to know. So whether there was a Chris Nwogu and everybody else in the world called as the Sokoto DOS, it didn't move me, but for just maybe a few hours, maybe. I listened to what they were saying and I read their memo and I thought, this is not right. Are you able to do that quickly and return to your original shape and say, oh yeah, I know this is not right. And I know that what the DOS did on the 18th of June was correct. If you're able to do that quite easily, then you have resilience. That's what resilience means. It means that you can check the points, check the memos, check the speeches, and say, this is right, this is right, this is right, but that one is wrong, that one is wrong. And then you say, okay, I choose the right one, so I know where I'm going. We're still restoring Biafra. And having the goal at the forefront of your mind all the time. What is the goal? What is my goal? Why am I talking to great Biafrans and I'm so privileged? Let me tell you. A great privilege has been given to you, me, your daughter, among you, every time I speak to great Biafrans. And because of that, I don't take it lightly. When you hear me speaking, I am not speaking because I want to talk. I'm speaking because I want to encourage you. I want to help point you to that right direction. And the only direction we're moving in is what Mazi Nzurumike has already elaborated on. Many people have done it in the past. We're only here to restore Biafra. A sane place where we can go home and call home and live in peace. That's what we're trying to do. Nothing else. Everything else is noise. Are you able to cut out the noise and come down to the carnal truth? What is it? Why are we here? We're here to restore Biafra. So if you're resilient, you're able to bounce back, adapt well to hard times, and return to your original shape unscathed. You know, and that's actually what makes us Biafrans. Resilience actually is in our bloodline. That's who we're made up of. Resilient people. We are resilience itself. That's in our DNA. So if you're a great Biafran and you think like your father and you think like your mother, you are resilient, able to bounce back, able to adapt to hardship no matter however the waves blow or however the wind blows, you are there. You just ply yourself until you get out of that. You return to your original shape unscathed. That's resilience. And I think everyone I see your name on here, you possess that. You possess that just by being here and listening to our great leader this afternoon. You are there. Now, another thing that he has talked much about is critical thinking. Critical thinking, so very important. Are you clear and rationally processing what is going on? Like, are you thinking it like when things happen? Like, yes, what happened this week? Okay, the one thing I know and I learned this week is from Loluche Chikan. She gave an account on how this I will go to Abuja and I like transfer and I don't want transfer issue happened. So I went to her article. When I started reading, I saw that she laid it out so systematically and succinctly. I could read it. In 2 minutes, I was able to read the whole thing and understand it. That Are you able to do that? Are you able to just sit yourself down, take the process easy, and actively analyze what's in front of you, and then evaluate it, interpret it, so that you can make a decision? So when I went to her article, for instance, this week, I read the whole thing. How Mazin Namdi Kano had already kind of put in a transfer request through the courts. How they bounced it back and said, no, we're not going to do that. And then I read what she did by convincing them that it's really important that he's closer to his lawyers and closer to his relatives and people who come to see him. And they said, okay, yeah, this is rational. That's what we're calling what? Critical thinking and superior argument. So when they saw that, and whoever the judge was, they were able to say, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. There is no need to go all the way to Sokoto. When most people who come to see you maybe come from the south and come from Abuja area, and your lawyers may be around Abuja and around the east. So let's do that. Let's move you here. Well, he turned that down, but that's not the point. The point I'm trying to make is that you can see in that succinct writing of Lord Luce Chicano that the were the Are you able to hear me?
We're
Or,
hearing you right now.
oh, you're hearing me now again?
Yeah, I can hear you right now. Think what else I hear you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. But anyway, so if you're able, not don't let the semantics of what is written down or what is being said or the way it's said and all the emotions attached to what is said, even if it's in the court of law and there is chaos in the courthouse, be able to listen between the lines and really pull out the facts and pulled us through the process of the trial is that we were no longer listening to the what the judge was saying. We were no longer listening to the case and what matters in the case. We were instead looking at the theatrics, all the gyrating that was going on in the court, and then the propaganda that the lawyers came out on the street under a coconut tree with the mama put, what they were saying. If we're able to differentiate the facts from the propaganda, then we are doing ourselves better good. We are then showing critical thinking. And these two things, the resilience and the critical thinking qualities, that's where I want us, me and you, to check ourselves on. Because as long as we are, that's the difference. That's the chaff and the wheat that we keep talking about. The wheat is in one is stays in the basket. The chaff is blown away, and the chaff is the people who are emotional and they are just listening to the propaganda being sold under the coconut tree at Mama Put after court case instead of listening to the judge and what the stake was and what was being judged. What is the point made? So right now, I think we learned from the autopilot saga in the past. And they came and they destroyed Igbo land with the BLA, as we all know. And that's why when we saw this their dance tape again from Sokoto, the first thing, if you remember, the first thing that people who see you and me, first thing we started shouting about was, do not take this as another opportunity to destroy our land, because that's where they were going. And if you heard Lola Neka Chimeze, that's what she was shouting. We see another, they are going to take another opportunity and destroy our land. And do you know that talking is very important when you understand the issue and then put the word out there? Even if humans are not listening to you, the world itself, the air, the sea, the land listens and hears you. And that's why we speak. Well, since we said that, the demons that was trying to be unleashed, they have stepped back because we pushed them back just by warning them. We are watching you, and you're about to set the Biafra land ablaze again. And we know that this is how you go and shoot gun in the air in any community, and that is only a signal for the Nigerian security agencies to go and burn down that location. It hasn't happened. And we are saying it over and over again. Now, that's the point where I am a teacher. Teachers, we repeat ourselves. And that's, by the way, that's how children learn. Children and people learn by you repeating information and it's going out consistently. They learn it because they can get away from it. And that's why when I come on any platform with great Biafras, I seem to repeat the same thing. But that's because that's the only way I know people learn. So critical thinking, rational process of actively analyzing, evaluating, interpreting. And this happens in your mind and brain all the time. It's not you take one thing, you analyze it, you forget the whole thing for another year and a half. No. It is you are always critically evaluating and analyzing every piece of information that comes to your table as far as Biafra restoration is concerned. And let me tell you, there is a whole bunch of noise out there. And that is where the leadership is now cautioning us. These people are drawing us into a fight so that we can go and just keep now Guaja. We're in the mud with them. We're in the mess with them. That's where they want us to be. Good critical thinkers know not to be in the mud with them. Don't go in that their mess. You tell them, don't go debunking lies. Lies are lies. You tell them once this is a lie, you move ahead and move on to the positive actions you can take for us to move ahead. But if you every day they bring out another lie, you go back and say, "Oh, Chris Walker, you can't even read what they gave to you. You're talking to people who are not interested in the restoration of Biafra." If we keep our goal in mind always, we will not make the mistake of chasing rats while our house is burning down. And that is the much I can tell you. But when you see, I also want to tell you that you were correct when you said that Ghana gained independence in 1957, and it was on March 6th of that year that it was declared. So you were correct about that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
And the inclusion. Another thing that you said that is so touching is the inclusion of all clans and all communities. There is something that is happening right now. I know for a fact because I have been to Biafra land and back. I know for a fact that there's nobody in Biafra land now that you say Biafra to that will ask you, what's that? I know this for a fact. I did the test myself. If you say it to any school child, they will look at you for a second and tell you, is that what happened in the past that they are talking about? You have to tell them, no, it's happening now that we want to get Biafra independence now. But there is nobody, no man, no woman, no child in Biafra land that has not heard the word Biafra or what is being done about the restoration of Biafra. And I can even assure you that there's no one who has never heard of IPOB. So the question for you and me is, are they hearing it in a positive light or a negative light? Our enemies and the saga profiteers want it to be seen in a negative so that people will say, oh, I shall come in Biafra and IPOB again. No. We who know what we're doing want to make sure that Biafra life is shown in positivity and IPOB is spoken about positively. So we only put out what? Truth and nothing but the truth. If we are narrating anything, we are narrating how it happened exactly. We're not going to add no embellishments because when we embellish, we tend to lie. So no lie. If that is what being whiter than white and whiter than snow means, then we must continue to ascribe to that. We speak the truth and we speak what we know. And you say, thank you very much for giving me a little opportunity to speak. And we'll continue.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tina. That was a very great rendition from you. And Biafrans have heard you. They've heard you. That is a very rich contribution that all of us may be able to take home. I would like to go back to the presenters of the very platform and see what is next they want to come up with. I think because of the time factor, if we're going to go into a phase where people may throw questions, we are going to allow that to go on. I don't know, Mazi Julius, are you with the microphone, or who else is it the one that going on to present this? Can you go ahead, please?
Mr. Clement, please. Who is the moderator? I think Pochi or please take over the mic.
I'm here. All right. All right. Good evening, thank you so much. My media head, I think you want to speak. Can go ahead, Martin.
All right, Mazi Nelson. Really, to our distinguished guest speaker and our erudite leader, Mazi Tonin Rumike, Deputy HOD, our guest, Dr. Tina. Thank you for summarizing and adding your own input to this topic. You guys have really fed us mentally. On behalf of everyone present here and on behalf of IPOB Ghana, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude for the inspiring and enlightening presentation you guys made this evening. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, experience, and wisdom with us. The message has challenged us to think more deeply and has given us valuable lessons that can help us going forward. We truly appreciate you guys. Thank you very, very much. I would like to give the mic to the moderators for question and answer. Maybe due to time factor, maybe you have to reduce the question to a minimum point where we'll have the time so that our speakers or our guests will have the time to answer to. So I will pass the mic over to Mazi Nelson and Mazi Chimezie. Let us go into question and answer section. Dewon, Dalon.
There were Mazi, there were my media head. Once again, I welcome everyone to IPOB Media Workshop, the 6th edition. Please, this time is a time of question and answer. Please, we will start this question from the members in this forum. Yeah. And then we'll also take some questions from, and I also please want to draw your attention that this program is being streamed live on Radio Biafra, Facebook, and X, and then also Biafran Television, Facebook. And also it's being streamed live also on Radio Biafra tuning, I think. So we are all live round. So we'll be taking questions from this platform, from this forum, and also we'll be taking some questions from Biafran Television on Facebook and Radio Biafra on Facebook and X. Please, if you have any question, you can write it, type it there, and it will be read out for our distinguished guest to answer the question. So, but before we move to that, to the Facebook and then X, we would like to see if there is any question from the members in this forum. Please, if you have any question, try to click the place that your mic is. You will see a place to raise up your hand, and then you'll be allowed to ask your question. Please try and do so. If you have any question, you can raise up your hand, and then those that have their mic open, if you still have a question, you can still let me know by opening your mic. Then I will call on you to ask your question. I think we have one member that his hand is up. So Mazi Ihani, please Mazi, the mic is yours now. Mazi Ihani, the mic is yours. You have been allowed to speak. Please, you can go ahead to ask your question.
Hello.
Mazi Ihani, your voice is not coming out clearly. Please, can you raise your voice?
You know?
Yeah, very well, Mazi. You can go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Very loud and clear, Mazi. You can go ahead.
Okay. My question is this. I would like to start by appreciating our speakers in the person of Mazi Nzumike and Dr. Tina. And my question is this. We have seen what is on now, and this is the time when we know we know the right people that are also in the right track. But looking at us who have residing in West African countries, my question is how is the DOS working hard in order to uh, make the environment and create an enabling environment for us to thrive more in terms of evangelism or in terms of doing other things. They know what I'm talking about. Because most of the problem here is the fear of what can happen next. If not, people will be willing. If we go for an evangelism and talk to people, they'll be willing to come. But at times, the security aspect of it makes people to not to be out uh, in joining the cause which we are in. Uh, Thank you very much. So my question is, how is the US planning to help to make the environment a good one, so that people will no longer have that fear? Thank you.
Please, is the question coming from Biafra land, or where is it coming
The question, the question I mentioned where I'm speaking from. I'm speaking from the Gambia.
from? Ah, okay. And if I understand very well, what is the UAS doing to make sure that or create an enabling environment to reduce fear for those or amongst those? That's exactly what I want to know. Is it amongst our people in general or those in Biafra land?
Most of people that are living also in West African countries, not Biafra land, because there is also a fear. Because here is not really the same. Say when you talk about the developed nations like Europe and America and all the rest of it, you know
All
what
right,
I mean?
all right,
Politically, in
all
West
right,
African countries.
all right. It seems I have now finally understood where you're going. You are talking about possible fear of um, you know, oppression, fear of apprehension or arbitrary attack from the unknown or something of that nature. You see what? Even before now, freedom fighting we know has never been cozy and rosy. We know risks would always come along with it. Um, irrespective of what actually occurs now and then. But having that in our back, the back of our mind, we always have to, uh, you know, be able to navigate our daily activities um, cautiously. Cautiously, there are people who say you should be fearless before your enemies, and I say yes, be fearless, but be cautious. Be fearless, but be cautious. You don't say because there is this mantra that says, I'll be fearless before my enemy. Therefore, even when I see a lion, hungry lion, right there, I will echo to the lion and say, Mr. Lion, you know what? I am fearless before you, but you know what? At 2 o'clock, I'm going to walk across your nose. And I know nothing will happen because I'm fearless before you. That will be suicidal. That will be suicidal. We always advise Biafrans across the board to be cautious. Um, Even those who are not in the movement, that nobody is safe anywhere just like that. Everybody is cautious. A lot of people are dying not because they're in the movement. People are dying even for going about their, their personal business. They're going about their daily life, yet they're not able to make it home. Uh, Sometimes it's not because of motor accident, but sometimes because of the very evil elements that exist in that very country called Nigeria. You have the Fulani herdsmen going about attacking innocent people that did nothing to them, not because they are Biafrans, not because they're in IPOB, just because they feel like killing and eliminating folks, displacing them and taking up their land, right? In our own case, it's just a little bit different. I mean, we have that one to fear, and also we have the idea that, we need to watch our back. The leadership has always advised that because we have families established across the globe, we all become our brother's keeper. That is what we can start with. Be our brother's keeper, watch each other's back. Then we also have the IPOB M branch. We have our security apparatus also much active on the global platform, making sure that uh, we, you know, prevent people from falling into unnecessary danger. And when we perceive danger coming, we make sure that this is sent across to those who need to pay heed to that very call for safety. That we try to do all the time. This leadership is working um, across the board and 247, making sure that the safety of our people remains priority. And will continue to do so. And that is why we frown at the idea that somehow it's okay for us will I say, lead or bring the path to our holy land of Biafra, when we know that spilling the blood of ours will make the coming of Biafra very, very difficult. So we abhor that very idea. We continue to echo that and send the message across that violence will never be an option in Biafra land. We want peace and tranquility in our land. We want our people to manage their lives even within this very space of very dire situation. People are struggling. People hardly can make ends meet. And if they have to fear for their lives just to go and fetch firewood, fear for their lives just to go and get some okra in the farm, then we are not just in an all almighty mess, but we are really set for obliteration, completely wiped out of our land. And that is not what we're looking for. We want to make sure that there's certain, assurance, and that we continue to do so. But how we do that is not what you come to lay bare on, in the public. How you do it is not, but you can always advise in the public. Yes, we can go to public domain, advise our people and all that, but we know that that is not all it takes. We still need to have some things done on the ground to enhance the absolute safety of our people. And I will assure you that that is being done. Of course, like I said, when you say M branch, it's not only in Biafra land, we also have them across the board, across the globe, even in West Africa, even where you are in Gambia. We have our tools to make sure that when there is a signal of danger, that we are able to communicate to able to uh, avert such very danger that is coming towards our people. I think you have made a point, my brother, and that has been taken on board. Thank you so much. Any other person ask any question?
Yes, thank you, our deputy head QS. Yes, Mars is trending. I don't know that after Mars trending, but I'll come to you. No, Mars trending. I'll open your mic so that you ask your question, but please, your question is limited to just 2 minutes, please, so that others will ask their question because The time is fast spent. Thank you, Max Brendan. Go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Mazoka, National Coordinator Activity and Hope and Play.
Your loud and clear. Go ahead.
Thank you. I have to be very quick. I have three questions very quick. And the first one is to dissenting opinion within IPOB members be viewed as disloyal or as an opportunity for institutional growth? That's number one question. To dissenting opinion within IPOB members be viewed as disloyal or as an opportunity for institutional growth? Also, number two, how can members of IPOB distinguish between constructive criticism and deliberate attempt to undermine a movement, which is IPOB movement? Also, finally, do followers accept every directive from leadership without question, or should they evaluate decisions based on evidence or risk? These are the three questions I have. Thank
Mazi, the constructive criticism, what was that again? If that is in order?
you. Yeah, how can the members of IPOB distinguish constructive criticism and deliberate attempt to undermine a movement?
Okay.
But yeah, the situation we are in.
All right. Yes. This this is not perfect. I mean, this is not far from what we have just discussed on today's topic. There are tools that have been outlined and been quite uh, rolled out in this episode, this evening, that should be um, of help for anybody that finds himself in any of these categories. But just like Dr. China also said, also explained, um, most of these questions you're asking here also calls for someone with critical thinking. It also calls for somebody who is also resilient in nature. Because if you are resilient enough, you know what is right and what is good. And you know that this is people of Biafra, you know this is IPOB, and you know what are those things that are horrible and what are those things that are always permissive. So certain opinion reviewed as disloyalty. I don't know what those opinions are. Um, Opinion is an opinion, that's fine. And I don't know under what context that becomes disloyalty. I think that that very question has more than you have just asked, because if you have a certain opinion, is it under what context? Opinion on its own is okay. Well, we don't say anybody should not have an opinion, right? Um, but what kind of opinion is that? Is it an opinion that demands an answer from your superior? Or because opinion is not in a question. It's just voicing out what you think about a situation, about something. So that alone does not sound disloyalty. I don't see anything there. But disloyalty only comes in if your superior gives you a directive, or let me say um, orders for certain things to be done, or will I say, directives from above to be followed, and that is not followed. Disloyalty is disobedience, right? So I don't see you having a certain opinion to be disloyal. But if then it's in a different context, because I think it has to do with somebody and a member and a superior to the member, or an officer, having something to do with a superior officer. Then we need to see what are those things that is bringing about disloyalty. If that is what it entails. And you want to distinguish constructive criticism from, from a situation where you are said you have undermined the struggle. How do we undermine the struggle? Those things that lead to instability, those things that will lead to um, destruction of lives and property, those things that will lead to unraveling the struggle in so many ways or shape or form, uh, that is different from constructive criticism, like you criticize something uh, after you are well convinced, having exhausted your critical thinking, having exhausted that. It means you find yourself at a stage where superior argument is now before you. And what do? You present that superior argument within that context. And that is constructive criticism. You criticize the situation based on what you have now seen, but undermining the struggle is something else. Is something else. We have a structure where you follow what you are asked to do. In case you're not satisfied, you have other avenues to exhaust in the process to make sure that you get a final answer. But if that is not followed, and your attitude is the type that is bringing about undermining the struggle, there are so many things one can do to undermine the struggle. Yes, so many things you can do. Because the leadership fights every day to make sure that this very foundation of this very struggle remains in place and rigid. Because it will not make us give us, let me say, um, make us safer or give us any service or do us any good if all we have to do is to bring about continuous instability in what we do, and then somehow collapsing the struggle after so many years, and then falling back into our enemy's hands to now do with us whatever they please. That will not be an option. So if one is doing anything that will now lead to a chaos, or further chaos, let me say, or destabilization or instability, then of course we have to differentiate. Is that undermining or is that constructive criticism? Constructive criticism is something else. And constructive criticism, somebody might not like your opinion, might not like what you criticize, but anyway you take it, especially to where it matters, I am sure those looking at it will be on your side, right? Somebody might not like it, but those looking at it will be on your side and say, yeah, I think you're making a sense. Sometimes truth is bitter, right? But like I said, you have to pass through the necessary processes and the platforms to make sure that the answers are made available to your satisfaction. But sometimes you might not get it all where you want it also. That can also happen. But let us make use of the tools we learned here tonight. Because by the time you've exhausted your resilience, your critical thinking ability, you are likely and most likely not to be on the wrong side. And that's what is keeping people going in the right path in this struggle. Let us not be the type that will see a spade and call it something else. If you call a spade, keep the truth upright all the time. Keep it up. And you can always beat your chest that you're doing the right thing. But if you are taking your eyes off the ball of the truth, it is called self-deception. And within you, definitely you are deceiving yourself. Because you know your conscience, the true conscience ordained in heaven. For God has given everybody conscience. But sometimes we pretend, we try to, subdue it somehow, suppress it, and then go for the option we think is popular, either within us or outside. So, but then you should be able to know or distinguish what is undermining a struggle and then constructive criticism. So, yes, you can always distinguish. One is the one that leads to destabilization, destruction, the one that has to do with misappropriation of fund, embezzlement, so many things, scandal of different sorts, right? And all those things are not healthy for the struggle. And the other one is about looking at the whole issue and come up with the best argument you have. And if that your argument has to do with criticizing a portion of what you perceive is wrong, that's what you're looking at. That is critical. That is constructive criticism, because you're not doing that to cause a harm. You want people to see with you what you are seeing, and that's a constructive. That's how I look at that. And then you have you say everyday direct. What was that? Every directive. I was able to note down every directive because I was preoccupied here also with other things. But were you saying, is it okay to follow every directive that comes from your leadership or from your superior? Mazi, was that the question? If
Okay.
you're able.
The question
Yes,
is,
yes, Mazi.
the-
Mazi, in as much as you find yourself under a particular leadership that is still legitimate, which is still under the leadership of the Directorate of State, under the structure, and nobody is asking you that. Two things I will step in. You are not asked to sabotage the struggle. You are not asked to embezzle or misappropriate funds. Then obey and get the directives that is being given to you, provided those are not directives that are meant to uh, undermine the struggle or bring about um, uh, you know evil, if you will. you know so for example, so if somebody is asking you those two things I've always asked people, I told people, if people ask you to embezzle funds or to sabotage the struggle, I would always say don't do any of this. Yes, but what you don't stop there. Then report the person to the next superior to that person that asked you to do so. Say, comrade, yeah, I was asked to do this, I disobeyed, and this is the reason. There is 100 francs in my hand. for our unit, and the coordinator said I should give it to him to probably do to himself whatever he pleases. And I'm saying no to him because it belongs to the family. And then he threatens to do what? To suspend me or do whatever, whatever it is. So you go to the superior and explain that. They say, I know we have this modus operandi that we obey, we listen, we follow, but then it was hard to swallow. This was very hard for me to swallow. And so I didn't obey. And then you lay it out. I'm sure the leadership will be on your side for taking the right decision. These are only very few places where we can afford to disobey. We afford to disobey doing evil. Yes, disobey doing evil. But if any other thing is about directives, about policies, carrying out some certain things you're asked to do, those are not to be disobeyed. Not at all. So, do you have any other question?
Mazi, can I add a word to that?
Yes, please.
Mazuka.
Dr. Tina, please come in anytime you wish. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mazuka, these are really important questions because now you're being very concise in what you're asking because these things do come up. I have experienced some of them here in my family, local family, and the bigger USA family. It is the dialogue or whatever the opportunity is that the person is saying or what they're doing. What you want to listen to is the spirit in what the person is saying. If there is an attack or it is a question. So the person might be just asking you a question, and some people may take it as attack. Don't give everybody, just that neutral ground to express themselves and let them express themselves freely. And if you need to ask questions like we have asked you this evening, to assess what point where you're coming from. And if you am able to understand where you're coming from, this question you ask now, you're asking honestly, if I encounter this, what should I do? So what I would say to you is you do the same thing you do every time because you've been doing this. You have been asking them questions about whatever the issue is, and then you just decide, indeed, this is reasonable. What you're asking me is reasonable. So if I don't have the answer, I'll get the answer and we'll think about it together. But if somebody really comes with the spirit of attack and the spirit of disruption or the spirit to destroy, you will see it also. When you start asking them questions to answer their question, they become belligerent. They will become very, they become combative. So you have to assess the spirit of where the person is coming from. And these things don't happen in one day. They may ask one question here during a meeting, and another meeting they ask a different one. And when that person starts to progressively get combative, you will know. And you will know to ask them the important question. Maazi, are you still with us? Or Wada, are you still with us? Because these things that you're saying has become an issue that I'm having problem understanding where you're coming from. And let them tell you where they're coming from. We are not infallible. In the Catholic Church, the pronouncements of the Pope can become infallible. We're not infallible. We can make mistakes in the performance of our duty. And all we have to do is, hey, Umunnem, I just said this last week when we met because I didn't understand the issue correctly. But if this is what you're saying today, this is what I will answer now. You can correct yourself. This is the movement. We're not going home until we get home. We're not. We will not stop going to our home until we get to our home. Biafra must come is not a cliche to us. We take it seriously. So whatever you did wrong today, you can correct tomorrow and keep moving. But when you become combative and your spirit becomes bad and you start embezzling money or you become belligerent to the issues of policy and you don't want to agree with anybody anymore, then we can tell you, Mazi, you can actually step aside from IPOB for a while. And if that's called suspension, we use it. You can be suspended for a little bit so that we can continue until such a time when you feel comfortable with us again. If you call me and I assess the issue and ask you some questions and we can allow you back in, we'll allow you back in. Every Biafran, from Idoma, from Igala, from Ijo, from Ibibio, Ishekiri, Igbo, we can all come into this IPOB. We're all stakeholders in this struggle and movement. So don't criticize yourself if you get anything wrong. And if anybody comes with some kind of constructive criticism, it cannot be assumed that it's a deliberate attempt to do anything. Just answer the relax. Let's all relax. Because when we relax, we think critically. We actually can use what we know to answer the question. And go with your intuition. You've been doing this. If you assess the reasonableness, you answer the question honestly, that's the best we ask and anybody can do. And then if we get it wrong, so what? Tomorrow we'll correct ourselves. And the first question, the only thing I can add to what Martin Zurumike has already said is plan, plan, plan. No matter what you're going to engage in, especially in the African countries, and especially in the zoo or Biafra land, make sure it is a thought out plan. You must have your plan. And then you make sure you take it to the leadership and say, this is our plan to do this. We want to do this. And this is how we plan to do it. And let somebody else look from the outside, see your plan and say, yeah, Mazi, that sounds like something that we can do. It's doable. And when they give you a go order, you go do what we need to do. Just plan it. We cannot sit still and watch everything happen. We have to continue moving. We have to continue doing things. Ndeo, Mazi, thank you for the time.
Thank you very much. Please, I'm going straight to Maz Chibuzo. You raise your hand, I will move you for you to ask your question. But please limit your question to one question, at least 2 minutes, please, so that others can ask their question. Thank you very much. Maz Chibuzo, please, I'm going to move you so that ask your question. Then one other, then get ready, and also Maz, please. Maz Chibuzo, go ahead and ask your question. Maz Chibuzo, go ahead, or I will give another person a chance. Maz Chibuzo, go ahead, ask your question. Last time, Maz Chibuzo, are you there? Maz Chris,
Please,
ask your question.
Maz, I think you should tell him to unmute. He's muted.
I know, I have unmuted him. Maz Chibuzo, check your end. I have unmuted you. Just press your mic and ask your question. Please, Maz Chris, ask your question. After Maz Chris, one other Jupiter, please, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, good evening, my fellow comrades. Good evening, Mazi Tony Nzurumeke, our Deputy HOD. Good evening, Dr. Tina, my able coordinator. I greet you, National Coordinator, and our West African reps. I greet all of you. My name is Chris Chukwueze Obidike. I'm from Anambra State. Precisely. My question is like this. It goes like this. Like all these parasites we have in IPOB that fall out and and now they are now in another side attacking and then creating chaos for us. What if they later realize their mistake? They want to come back. Is there any room for them? So that is my question. There one.
There were, Mazi, a very, very good question and valid one. For that matter, uh, Mazi, it's not the first time we've been having or being confronted with such a situation. During the height of Epirima destructive intrusion, we uh, have to deal with such comrades as well who were highly gullible. That's the right description of such people. Very, very, very highly destructively gullible. Let me say. But we at some point thought that we need to look at to what extent were they destructive. We looked at it. Okay, gullible. Yeah, actually didn't know what he was doing. Actually, unfortunately, I can use a word like blockheaded. That can also happen. Um, yeah, and then we look at to what extent did they commit any damage. Uh, if we look at them, we investigated, we said, okay, you know what, there was a window of opportunity for such people to reapply, to be pardoned, but then if they were once principal officers, they will never be normal because they were supposed to, no matter how degraded the brain will be, uh, these are Homo sapiens, quality human beings. I mean, among all creatures, for them not to reason properly to that degree and to have fallen to that level, they can never be trusted and be handed over anything official. So that was considered, and then there was this other category that were well established destructors. These people were out to destroy. These were destroyers. These were not just trying to destroy. They were deceiving others. They were actively deceiving others. They were actively trying to crumble the struggle. They didn't care because these are people who never contributed anything, uh, neither financial nor any material. So they didn't give a toss what the consequences would be. Some of them actually were not one Nigerian, so they saw a window of opportunity to come and cause chaos. So we need to be very careful. Know those who are really gullible for real, and those who really know what they came to do. Seizing opportunity to destroy and make sure that this struggle crumbles. So a careful um, attempt is embarked upon. Look into each case, and each case is evaluated as it is, and we come up with the right answers to such cases. But for what is happening now is a different ball game because most of these guys were around when Berima, was actually busy trying to dismantle this very strong. And believe you me, if anybody is found repeating the same thing, was found in the other one, was once pardoned, and found in this one again, I don't think there's any room for forgiveness. We thought about um, an institutionalized movement and how it could be successful, how it can make a hard way. We talked about how people of the same line of thought, those who share the same uh, kind of mind. People who share the same line of thought, people who have the same reasoning, who have the same capacity, or something similar. They say in a nutshell, birds of the same feather flock together. So if you don't have such caliber of people in our midst at this stage, sharing the same ideology, philosophy, let me put it that way, philosophy, and able to apply critical thinking capability, and able to reason properly, exhaust their thinking faculty. If they're not the types that can fit into the very um, present IPOB as we see it, and they have found to be repeating themselves like they did today, I don't think there's any room for them. They will not be forgiven, my brother. They have to remain where they are. In so many uh, countries that have gained their freedom today, not everybody was on board. In fact, you have only a small fraction of every country that is free today that participated in the freedom for the overall. So we're not going to go into the business of just making sure the idea of inclusiveness and all that has nothing to do with this one you're talking about now. You're talking about those who deliberately have come to sow seeds of discord, know what they were doing. Some of them doing what they're doing because they're being paid for it, or some of them are doing what they're doing because they're working for the zoo and getting some round envelopes for their actions. Each case will be studied and the right consequences will be drawn. And I can assure you, those that are found in repetition of this behavior will never be pardoned. And if anyone is genuinely found for the first time to be that gullible, to fall for what is happening, especially on the other side, uh, that also could be looked into what extent did that happen, and the leadership will look at a situation where somebody could possibly be pardoned, but I'm not sure that many have that room for pardon because the case is very clear. Um, we saw what happened. We know the history of this struggle. We know when the struggle was, initiated. We know at what point Radio Biafra was brought in to be a component. We know how that was driven. We know how Believe Human Rights was set up and how it was assigned and pushed out. And the Council of Elders, they were also silenced. And at, at some point, you know, they just got missing. And we saw what happened. We carried along. We kept on pushing and pushing and pushing, managing whatever we just saw that was left. And until we began to see the ugly side of the whole thing in recent times, which I'm not at liberty to now get into because it is very, voluminous, cumbersome. It is not an issue you can, dive into in a very short time. It takes time for you to go into all these things. But once you begin, you need to be very thorough. You need to be very thorough for people to understand wherever it, for those who don't understand, who don't know. But I will tell you that this very present times we're not ready for any game. The time of game is over. Anybody playing a game is free to go and do his own freedom fighting. We know today there's something they call Ipob. It is out there. You have the mixture of autopilot 2.0 and that of Biafra Liberation Army forged together, Umadaka Highway, the RV, the 100 men, all this to put in one place called Ipob. But we don't belong there. We belong to field of reasoning. We belong to field of quest for freedom, genuinely for the masses, not for one person. We believe a situation where everybody is a stakeholder. Every genuine Biafran is important. Nobody is important more than the other. We believe that this freedom should be done, by this generation, not to be left for the generation to come. And if that happens to be the case, we need to be very serious about the freedom fighting and not playing games with it and not, diverting our attention into personal jamboree and all that. That will not bring Biafra. We should also, the worst of it all, not engage into any manner of spilling blood of our own, destruction of lives and property of any sort. That should also be avoided. So that is it. That is IPOB stroke ESN for you for now. On the other hand, you have those who believe in violence, who want to perpetrate certain things. They have some agenda on the ground, and we are here to say no to that. We have to push back strongly and say our people have died enough. So those of them in Ipob, they dare not spill the blood of our people once again. Our people have died enough. They have suffered enough. They are going through hell as we speak. All we can do is to help them out, like this DOS has done. Creating agricultural program that has actually helped a lot. A lot of people are now on their own feet, now trying to do the needful to help themselves. Some of them are producing enough to be sold in the markets, unlike few couple of years. So there's so many more things we need to be doing, building bridges across the border, doing the needful. Those things you need to do for Biafra to come. They need to be done right now, and not all the, all the clown, presentations we've been seeing all the while. So, my brother, there will be no room for such people, especially those of them who deliberately and actively engage themselves into such manner of behavior. My brother, thank you so much for that. Your question. I think the presenter can ask the next person to ask this question. There.
So thank you, the HDO. Thank you, sir. Please, I go back to Mazi Chibuzo. Please go ahead, ask your question. You are muted. Please go ahead.
Okay, Mazi, am I coming out clearly?
Loud and clear.
Thank you, Biafran, all over the world. My name is Mazi Chibuzo. I greet the DOS and also thank our brother, Mazi Tony. I also thank Dr. Sina. All protocol are well observed. I'm so much grateful to speak this night to Biafrans and lovers of freedom. I have it's like an appeal to the DOS because of recently we noticed our people are too emotional. They are a too emotional being. Now I'm saying it's like if I'm not right, I need to be corrected. Like resurfacing or refreshing our oaths as members of IPOB because these have really made a lot of people they don't know when they are doing anything that will lead to insubordination or disrespecting the leadership. Now, these have championed many of our people to behaving the same way that they did during the autopilot era. So they are moving it in a way it will seems like one man struggle. So I like and I encourage the DOS for the action they took recently. All of us, we love our leader, Mazen Namdekalo. We love him so much. and so dearly. He was not sacked from the struggle, but things have to be put aside for the protection and the preserving of our people life. Now, Dr. Tina talked about resilience, that's consistency, how some of our members were able to fall back because it was a lot of things. Like many people feel that all hope has gone, like they want to fall out because it seems like they are worshiping one person instead of to base on the main reason we all come as one family in IPOB. Now, I believe that when we took oath as oath members, I believe that all of us that are oath members of IPOB, of this struggle, joined IPOB to liberate our people and to obey the leadership. So the first core of IPOB is what? Discipline. So we should what? Continue to obey the leadership because the leadership is the body that can make the law or whatever that can lead us to actualize the goal that we are into. So my pleading is what? My opinion is what? Let the leadership resurface the oath that the members of IPOB took because it's up to like 5 years ago now, so that other members can retake it again so that they will understand how they're supposed to behave in this struggle. To understand that we are here to restore our fatherland, not just to depend on one person. We can love somebody because the person have sacrificed so much for the struggle, and many have died. Many people have gone. Many sacrificed. Some they have burned their houses, and all these are lost. If we don't restore Biafra for our next generation or this current time, then what is our achievement again? So that is some few points of mine. Let's resurface the oath. Yes, and if there is any correction that will be done on that oath, uh, oath something that was written, let DOS resurface it and see if there is something that will be attached to it or removed from it, and let every members of IPOB take it again. Because I understand that somebody that is sleeping is easy to wake that person than somebody that pretend to be sleeping. So I believe with these few points of mine, yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I think I'll help you just raise your voice a little bit so that I can answer this and also hang something on the last question before you continue. I want to thank Mazi Chibuzo for what he just finished saying, and you are so on time for the program that will be broadcast tomorrow at 7:30 Biafra land time will be hosted by Mazi Alozie of Radio Biafra, and he will be hosting our HOD, our head of Directorate of State, Mazi Chikadidi Doziem. And in that program, the highlights are that Mazi Chike Doziem will be unveiling the new IPOB oath of allegiance. So you're right on time. Make sure you listen tomorrow, everyone. And he will also unveil the new IPOB pledge that the Directorate of State of the Indigenous People of Biafra has worked on now, and they will unveil it tomorrow. And there will be a thriller or an introduction to the new constitution that they have been working on. So you are right on time for that. All that will be done tomorrow. So after that, Mazi Chike Dibie Doziem will tell us how we will have to retake the oath, the new one that has been redone and rewritten. And the next thing I want to say is to Mazi Obidike. Mazi Obidike, you are so right in that question that you asked previously about whether we will allow all these other gullibles back in. And what I had to say when you were saying it, what came to my mind is gullibility is a hard disease to cure. Because when you see somebody who is gullible, they're gullible to all manner of ideas and reasonings. There are two people, they don't like, our leaders don't like to call names. We in the ranks, we can call names. People like Ejiro, people like Ezioku Bunjo. These two people were in public, demarcating what we're doing, this movement, when Simon Ekpa came around. During autopilot, they jumped in, hook, like line and sinker, and they did the damage they did. They came back. They asked for public apologies. They asked for uh, secret apologies, and they were allowed back in, to do what they were doing. They were in public defending Biafra and the struggle. But double gullibility at this point in time will not be tolerated, and I'm so happy that Mazin Zurumike has made it clear. You cannot err that time and we forgive you, and then you go back and err again. What is that? If you're not able to reason with us, if you're not able to think like we are thinking, if we are not of like mind, if we are not on the same level, if you're not rowing the same direction, as we're in a boat rowing the same direction, some people cannot be rowing left and some people are rowing back and some people are rowing to go forward. We have to all row
Everything else in your book is a lie. In your book, if you lied about Aburi, that you were having malaria and did not know what you signed, then everything else must be all lies.
You claim to be a Christian. You waited till Ojuku is dead and started talking and started lying. You can't redeem your legacy with lies.
You lied that most the bullets and most bombs from the Nigerian army hit the palm trees and not human beings. That's a massacre. People dressed in white,
they're the palm trees.
Women and children in the market square, they are palm trees.
Right?
Your book belongs to the dustbin.
Trash bin.
Nigeria problems today.
Credit to you.
Hey.
Your legacy with lies.
Today I told it, you live in Britain.
I told it,
and not in your one Nigeria that you murdered for.
Killed for. Ego genocide.
Ego
Holocaust.
Africa.
First bandits.
When was the last time you visited your village? You are the first bandit Nigeria ever produced.
Decisions you made destroyed Nigeria. Until today,
General Yakubu Gowon,
Nigeria, first bandits. You lied about our Buria Accord.
You were suffering malaria and did not understand what was discussed.
Everything else in your book must be all lies.
When you get to heaven, if you ever get there, God will ask you why you lied at all day.
Old man, God kept you alive for a reason, but you have failed to repent.
The hottest
part
of hellfire has been prepared for you.
He say.
No peace and happiness for you.
Not at all.
Amen. Ojuku will be fanning your hellfire,
adding fuel to firewood.
Nigeria,
first bandit. I saw my people dressed in white are palm trees.
Nigeria,
first bandit.
2 million children starved to die.
Died of palm trees.
Africa,
first bandits.
God kept you alive for a reason, but you have failed to repent.
General Yakubu Gowon,
you cannot redeem
your legacy with lies.
Ojuku will be fanning your hellfire,
adding fuel to firewood.
Asaba people,
palm trees.
Nigeria,
first bandits.
you will live to see
Nigeria separate. Spirit of 2 million children starved to death. At work.
our palm trees.
Aburi Accord malaria. Africa first bandits.
Read my lips, Igbos must be free worldwide. Before your eyes, amen.
There comes a time the whole wide world will welcome the rising sun. Here comes the time for everyone to see that what will be, will be. This is the time for you and I to stand together as one. Yeah. They will know, they will know. The sun is rising from east to west, from north to south. Can't you see the sun is rising? Oh, you wave your flag, I'm proud of who you are. Because the sun is rising, we're shining so bright all over the world. We are the sun, we are rising. We spent our lives in pain and mystery. Never gonna trade our freedom and in history. It's affecting our soul, it's killing us so slow. With what we've been through, we are from the hood, but we are blessed, but you go pick up drama. So never gonna give up. Nobody can stop us, nobody can cage us, nobody can shine so bright all over the world. The windows and curtains, green light. When I think about how blessed we are, goosebumps all over my body. So right to the sky. Actually, in my
Mazi, you're asking about
Ruthless.
and that would have given you the answer. It was um, widely touched, and if you have the kind of characteristics of institution we're talking about, in terms of general, in terms of the core, and so on and so forth. Once you have, if you have to go into the core characteristics, for example, like I said before, you have the cohesive leadership. You're going to have a number of individuals that are working together in tandem. These folks are today called the members of the Directorate of State. When you have them in play, in fact, that was the way it was supposed to be in the past. But they were not allowed to function by design. But naturally are supposed to function that way because the Directorate of State encompasses the engine of the administrative body. They see to the day-to-day affairs of the struggle. That is why it is very, very paramount that on that very platform, no continental rep is left out. Not even the regional continental reps are left out. That tells you what that is. You have all of them automatically as members of the Directorate of State, designed to lead the struggle administratively. And now that we have gone into institutionalization, this very Directorate of State is now picking up the mantle of leadership full blown and now carrying out what they're supposed to be have been doing all the while without any hitch. This time around, the doors of leadership, corridors of leadership made open where issues are deliberated upon, where superior arguments are always um, extracted out of any situation to make sure that best decisions are made. With the will I say, abolition, if you will, of the position of a leader or the deputy leader. You may have heard on radio that those positions have been, um, indefinitely suspended. But I will tell you that in the emergence of institutionalization, those positions are ought to be seen as abolished. I like to say the way it is. So you don't have a situation where an individual now becomes an issue. You have to deal with a collective, cohesive leadership that see to it that every Biafran has a stake in this struggle and that everybody is treated fairly. That is where we are today. And that is what actually is calling for, modernization of all our proceedings, including modification of our code of conduct. We are going to have, like Dr. Tina said, also the pledge of allegiance. Our oath should be retaken, modified, and of course, we are going to have our bylaws across the board globally rolled out in a nearest future. So I think that answers the question, Maz. Are you okay? Is that okay for you?
Yes, sir, I'm okay, sir. Thank you very much.
No.
Yes, please, my moderator, please, are you there, sir? Nelson, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Please, check if there is any question from the Biafra television or those watching on Facebook.
Okay, let me check. I think I'm going there, but I didn't see any question. Let me check again.
Artists,
So I think we should start taking a question from others here. I don't know if there's any person that still want to give any question again to our moderator. So I guess what's more to say.
please go ahead. Go ahead. Continue.
We can't hear him.
Yes, sir. Please, our deputy head, please, your parting shot, sir.
What again?
Your parting shot.
Is there no other question?
Yes, sir. There is no other question, sir.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. And from the other platforms as well?
Yes, sir. We have checked. There is no question from there, sir.
Okay. All right. Now, fellow Biafrans and advocates for freedom. At this juncture, I think we've done the needful. I think this should continue. I think the family in Ghana have done noble, and I thank all of them for putting this together, including the IPOB family in West Africa. In fact, you guys are formidable. You guys in West Africa, as a sub-region, as African continent region, you have demonstrated how vibrant, how brilliant, how formidable you are. The evidence is there. I think it has to do with the leadership you have there. It has to do with the caliber of regional coordinator and deputy regional coordinator. It has to do with national coordinator, the kind of caliber you have there. It has to do with the zonal coordinators and regional coordinators, sub-region within the country that you have as a structure. It has also got to do with unit coordinators that you have there. All of you, making all this a successful one. And I say kudos to you all, and I will also appreciate the listenership from Biafra land, from everywhere across the globe for participating in this. It's been a very, very great night, and what has been experienced, and I think we have learned a lot from each other. We have also come to understand, the positions of Biafra. Some of you spoke the minds of millions of Biafra. Some of you asked questions on behalf of millions of Biafrans, maybe without you yourself knowing. So, by virtue of your questions, a lot of people felt like you do. And so, we have done justice to all this, and the leadership is working assiduously around the clock. I don't know of any member of the Directorate of State that sleeps well, because it's either a meeting today or tomorrow or the next, trying to make sure that things are in place, trying to make sure that Biafrans are well, trying to make sure that everything goes accordingly. And that's what we do, because we call it volunteer. We came to do this thing for us and for the future generation to come. I want to encourage all of you not to waver. I want to encourage you to remain steadfast. I want you to remain unwavering. I want you to keep on keeping on. We are soldiering on. We are not going back. This we have come out to do to make sure we have our freedom. We have studied this struggle for some time now, and we have figured out the right things to put in place for Biafra to come. We have seen the failures of the past. We have seen where what led to a lot of mishaps and led to a lot of distractions. What led to a lot of chaos? What led to dissatisfactions and all that? So we need to get it right. That is why today you hear about institutionalization, because that has to be the first step in getting it right. You can never get your freedom, and nobody actually got it by uh, having it around one individual. I think people are worried about that, and I thank God the worry is people are no longer worried that much. I think because they have seen solutions coming up from the platform of the leadership. We need to get it right because we don't want to be a laughing stock no more, right? You don't want a situation where the resources, the what belongs to the struggle, what belongs to everybody cannot be accounted for, with impunity. That's not how to build a nation. We know that we're in a struggle where certain things are done, with some degree of, command and control. Yes, but that should not close the doors of accountability. I think that the door of accountability should be open. I think people should be allowed to see, um, what belongs to them. People should be allowed to ask, pertinent questions without being crucified for it. And I think we want the best of everybody, because everybody has a stake in what we're doing. And so, those of you back home, please, anybody that is actually confused, get no more confusion. Just pick up yourself and follow what is coming from the Directorate of State, and you will get it right. Because it's not being operated by one person. We have a whole lot of dozens of people across the board on the bench and thinking critically and asking the pertinent questions and coming up with the superior arguments. We thank God because we have the head of the Directorate of State who attaches importance to contributions from everybody. Um, Reasoning together and pondering over issues together and getting the best out of the situation before rolling out decisions. That has been very, very helpful. That is helping us in beating the time and actually getting closer to the goal we have mapped out for. So I want to thank all of you and say, be out there to listen to Mazi Edozim. Make sure you tune onto the radio to be informed, because it's going to be full of information and rich of the things you need to know. So don't be left out. Make sure you tune onto the radio to listen. And of course, going forward, if you have a question, we are not far from anybody. Make your questions available, even if it's not during the radio time. There are other avenues you can forward your questions for clarity's sake. Thank you so much, Mazi. Mazi Onele is our West African coordinator. Mazi Julius, you have done a fantastic job. I thank you so much, of course, for the whole crew. Mazi Uyi, the national coordinator of Ghana, and of course the media head, Eddie Anthony Chinedu. Mazi Obasi, fantastic job. Thank you so much. Kudos. Of course, all the national coordinators, all the continental reps, all the principal officers across the globe, I would say keep on keeping on. We're not giving up. There is no room to give up. There is no room to fall off. We must continue. Dr. Tina, if you have anything to say to Biafrans, I will call upon you to take up the microphone and do so. Thank you so much. God bless
Thank you,
you all.
Mazi. Thank you, Mazi. We hold each other accountable throughout this movement. We learn together and we work hard for the collective. And the collective that we're working hard for is our homeland. You have a home there. I have a home there. We want a peaceful Biafra nation. That's why when we are called to gather, we gather. And IPOB West Africa, especially Ghana, has done a marvelous job this evening calling people together. And one of our brothers' names, I think in Italy, is Aganevu. We must continue talking, educating ourselves, pulling together to make sure that we get this right. And one day Biafra then will be restored. That's the only hope we have to even be satisfied, have any kind of satisfaction in our lives, in our lifetime. So I thank you greatly. I wish I knew all the names like Maz just to rattle them all off. But I thank all of you. I know Idara. That's who I know. And then I think I know Mazi Opase. And the rest of you, you're fantastic. Those people who work in Biafra land, those people who work in the zoo in general, those people who work in West Africa altogether, and the people who work in all the continent of Africa. We salute you because you're doing a great job. If you're not there, all of us in the rest of the Western world and the East, we cannot bring Biafra home from here. It is you that we count on to make sure that we have a Biafra. Unu ka anyị ji a shot. Unu ka anyị ji aba. If we don't have you, we have nothing. We don't have Biafrans in Biafra land. We have absolutely nothing. We can talk and talk and talk, and that doesn't do anything. So I thank you greatly, my comrades, and have a good evening from here. I think, yes, it's a good evening from here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation. May problem bless you and bless the deputy HDOS. May you come and bless each and every one of you for the good work you are doing for great Biafrans all over the world. And we believe that we always see in Biafra land. Thank you very much. Thank you. I go back to Mazi now. Now, please, are you there?
Yes, Maz, I'm here.
Yeah, continue, Maz.
Okay, thank you, my fellow. I also thank our guests and then and Dr. Turner and every one of us here who are in this platform. I would so thank each and every one of you with West African brothers who joined us in this program just now. Also thank every one of you. Please, at this juncture, we want to extend our mic to the deputy West Africa to extend his closing remark or one greeting to our guests. This Maz to get triggers. Is the mic is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. My moderator, I thank you very much, the media head of IPOB Ghana Expression. Thank you very much. I want to use this medium to appreciate our guest, our able HOD, and Dr. Tina. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Continue guiding you, people, giving you wisdom and knowledge. And Lord, that first IPOB worldwide. And my prayer is that any weapon fashioned against IPOB will be powerless in the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach. All the evil plans of the enemy will come to an end. And whosoever that says Peter, it will never come out again, forever and ever. You just writing them, I pray. I want to use this medium as well to greet all the members of West Africa that are attend this music workshop. I believe we learn one or two things, and please kindly take it home and put it into practice as a message to our comrades, our comrades at home as well. Thank you very much, and God bless you, and good night. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Moses.
Yeah, moderators, thank you so much. You guys have done amazing. At this point, allow me to express our sincere gratitude to our distinguished guest, the Deputy Head of Directorate of State, Mazi Antonio Zurumeke. Mazi, we salute you. We salute your tenacity. Dr. Tina, it was really nice having you, and I look forward to we look forward to having you in our subsequent program. We say thank you so much for being here. Our respected principal officers, West African Rep and Deputy, I say may Okike continue to strengthen you for making all of this possible to have our guests in the house. We say thank you so much. To the facilitators of this very workshop, which is primarily the media executives headed by Mazi Tony, aka Mandela Mazi. We say thank you, you and your team, for facilitating this very awesome media workshop. And our comrades are not left out, our comrades, both those who are listening from Radio Biafra, those who are listening from BTV, across globe. Of course, and ladies and gentlemen, lovers of freedom out there, we say thank you for spending this time with us. 3 hours plus of your time is never a joke, and we do not take it for granted at all. I'm glad that today we have been able to reflect deeply on this theme, which is beyond emotion, why strong institutions are resilient, and critical minds should drive a successful freedom fighting movement as ours. You know, and the light that have been thrown into it by our guest speakers, personally, I really have a lot, you know, that I've taken from this conversation so far. I'm glad that this conversation, this discussion this evening, you know, has reminded us that enduring movements are not sustained by just passion alone. It's not sustained by you know, sentiments. Rather, it is being sustained by disciplined thinking. I call it disciplined critical thinking. At some point, it seems as if critical thinking may not even be enough. So it has to be disciplined. We have to be disciplined in critically thinking, and of course, we have to also be strategic in our communication. We are especially grateful to our guests once again for sharing their knowledge and experience. We also appreciate the active participants, everybody, all the attendees, not forgetting our comrades who are holding this down on BTV, the technical crew, and of course, our comrades on the Radio Biafra end. We say you guys are all awesome. We say thank you very much, and we hope that this workshop, this very topic, this will not be seen as an end of the conversation, but rather it will be an opening. It will be a beginning of a renewed commitment, right? Something that will help us to strengthen this institution that is IPOB, and of course, to help us to engage constructively. I want to say that on behalf of the media team, on behalf of IPOB Ghana, We want to say thank you once again to everybody who participated and the organizing committee for your presence and support. I pray it is my earnest desire that the knowledge that we have shared this evening would inspire us, to make wiser decisions as we continue in building a stronger institution that is IPOB, and more so responsible and effective pursuit of our collective aspiration. As I call it a day, I will not forget to acknowledge my fellow coordinators who, across West Africa, who were present here, the Gambia family, the Liberian family, the Benin Republic family. I say thank you all, and to your media teams as well, as we hope that this will mark a beginning of the media across West Africa to begin to work together in oneness of purpose to ensure that we push this media narrative regarding our struggle, we push it to the forefront together. And not just, one country doing it, but we want to see how we can harmonize the media across West Africa so that we can speak in one voice. Once again, I say thank you very much, and I hope we will continue in, critical thinking in a very disciplined and resilient format. I remember Uyi, and I am privileged to serve this family as of today in the capacity of the national coordinator. Waya Wese. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my national coordinator. Thank you so much for this working trip. Please, at this juncture, we are drawing the program to an end because everything has been said and we all have heard it from everyone's our mouth. And I don't know if there is any information or any, but I think we need to come to an. So at this junction, please, my
The information is not more than what we have been told, which is that every one of us should look forward to the broadcast of the HOD tomorrow by 7:30 p.m. Biafra land time, so that the things that are going to be unveiled, we will all listen, and after that, we all continue to chew on it, in working hand in hand with the leadership, the Directorate of State, to ensure that we build a strong institution that we are an institution that will outlast every one of us, an institution that will guarantee, our shared, our collective goal, our collective value, which is the restoration of Biafra. I think basically that is it. That is the announcement that we should all look forward to, moderators. Unless if there's any other thing you guys can end. If not, I think it is okay to call it a day at this very point. Mazi. Thank you guys for the awesome coordination.
Thank you so much, my national. I think there is not much again to say yourself about it. So, my fellow comrade, and lovers of freedom and Biafrans, please, we all thank you guys so very much for joining us this evening. And at this point, we are going this great program to an end. And I wish may God will continue to every one of you, and then may we all keep on keeping on till we restore Biafra in its fullness. They will not mention and remain blessed every day.
Thank you very much, and good night from you.
Everything else in your book is a lie. In your book, if you lied about Aburi, that you were having malaria and did not know what you signed, then everything else must be all lies.
You claim to be a Christian. You waited till Ojuku is dead and started talking and started lying. You can't redeem your legacy with lies.
You lied that most the bullets and most bombs from the Nigerian army hit the palm trees and not human beings. Asaba massacre, people dressed in white.
They're the palm trees.
Women and children in the market square, they are palm trees.
Right?
Your book belongs to the dustbin.
Trash bin.
Nigeria problems today.
Credit to you.
Hey.
Your legacy with lies.
Today I told it, you live in Britain.
I told it.
And not in your one Nigeria that you murdered for.
Killed for. Ego genocide.
Ego
Holocaust.
Africa.
First bandits.
When was the last time you visited your village? You are the first bandit Nigeria ever produced.
Decisions you made destroyed Nigeria. Until today,
General Yakubu Gowon, Nigeria,
first bandits. You lied about our Buria Court.
You were suffering malaria and did not understand what was discussed.
Everything else in your book must be all lies.
When you get to heaven, if you ever get there, God will ask you why you lied at all day.
Old man, God kept you alive for a reason, but you have failed to repent.
The hottest
part
of hellfire has been prepared for you.
He say.
No peace and happiness for you.
Not at all.
Amen.
Ojuku
will be fanning your hellfire,
adding fuel to firewood.
Nigeria,
first bandit. I saw the people dressed in white are palm trees.
Nigeria,
first bandit.
2 million children starved to die.
Died of palm trees.
Africa,
first bandits.
God kept you alive for a reason, but you have failed to repent.
General Yakubu Gowon,
you cannot redeem
your legacy with lies.
Ojuku will be fanning your hellfire,
adding fuel to firewood.
Asaba people,
palm trees.
Nigeria,
first bandits.
you will live to see
Nigeria separates. Spirit of 2 million children starved to death. At work.
our palm trees.
Aburia caught malaria. Africa first bandits.
Read my lips, Igbos
Must be free worldwide.
before your eyes.
Amen.